Hey, just went out for a bit of a walk around, not far from where we live. Got a school here. It's an international school, young kids, normally in the afternoons, not every afternoon fortunately, it's like drum session. We get the kids there and they go crazy, absolutely having a ball, banging the hell out of their drums and everything else. And not so good for us, and it's like, oh my God, it just shakes the day up and it just goes through your head. But today's quiet, little quieter afternoon. I think they've got some clarinets or something playing in there today, but it's just nice to just wander around and just take in the ambience and appreciate where you are and what's happening. Obviously every morning we see the kids being dropped off at school. They rock up with mum or dad on their motorbikes, dropping them off one by one. You sort of sit back and you think back to the days when you went to school and the things that you did when you were in school back then, and what you went through and what you had to go through. Totally different life here, that's for sure. The other interesting thing as well is that what I was thinking about that when I've been walking around here today, and thinking about life and what happens and what we do and how we go about things. And before we know, life slips away from us. And it was interesting because today I was reading an article by Rod Stewart, the singer. Obviously, Rod's been around a long time, bit of a party boy. Obviously, he loves his life and he loves his drinking, and he still rocks on. And he says, in this article, he turns 80 pretty soon, which is quite amazing. And you sort of don't think of Rod being 80, but then again, you forget how old you are yourself. But it was interesting. They were talking to him about life, and he said that look, I've probably got about 15 years left. That's what I reckon I can make. No dramas. He said no one knows that though. But he said, if I keep doing everything I'm doing right, who knows? I guess it's up to the grace of God whether he does or he doesn't. But what was interesting is they asked me about life, and he said, you know what? He said, I've had a fantastic life. I've had a great time. I've enjoyed myself, and I've lived life to the max in the way I've gone about it. And he said, I still tour and I have no intentions, but he said after the touring, he said we still drink, he said we still party, he said, but I don't party all night like I used to. And I think we're all a bit that way when we get older. We don't party all night anymore. But he said he still does, but he looks after himself as well. Anyone that's followed Rod knows that he's a fitness guy. He's very fanatical about his health and stuff like that. But it was interesting what he said. He said, I've had a fantastic life. I've lived life. I've enjoyed life. And I just wonder how many of you can say exactly the same thing. How many of you, and it's something we all, even I, should be questioning myself when we look at this and say, how good has life been? How good has that really been? Have I done everything I wanted to do? Have I taken the opportunities to do everything that I possibly can? Or have I sort of backed off a bit and thought, nah, look, I'll do that next week, or I'll do that the week after? And you know what happens? It happens to every one of us. We never bloody will do it. It gets put off. And then all of a sudden you wake up 2 years later and go, damn, I didn't do that. But the thing is that you've just wasted 2 years when you should have done it. And this is what happens with life. It happens for all of us. Doesn't matter who you are. If you don't deal with life and live life every single day, because that's all you ever have. You only ever have the moment you're in every day. You have nothing else. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Yesterday's already gone. So that means nothing. You can't change yesterday. You can't change anything about it. You can't do anything about tomorrow until it arrives. Then it becomes today. That old saying, what's always coming never arrives, is tomorrow. And it's so true. It is just so true. And, if you think about yourself and you think back, when you were at school, how long ago was that? And what's happened in your life since you were at school? Are where you want to be? Do you have the life you want? Do you have the money you want? Do you do the things that you really want to do? You'd love to do? Or are you just drifting? And it's a good question, especially to ask yourself. And it's something that we all should do all the time, not every now and then. And that's why reading Rod's article today really brought that point home, the fact that he was saying that he's had a great life. He's had a great life and he doesn't want to swap it. He's just saying, I've had the best life out. So my question is to you, have you had the best life out? You know? Are you living your best life? If you're not, you know what? You can't blame anybody else. It all rests with you, no one else. You know, I've always said that, you know, if you're going to live life, don't tiptoe through the sand. Go through it and leave footprints like crazy and make it and choke the hell out of it. Live it like it's been meant to be lived so that you can say, I had a bloody good life. I did everything I wanted. I left nothing on the table. And I'm challenging you to take that on board now. Drop me some comments. Let me hear your thoughts on this. You know, let me get an idea and an understanding of your take right at the moment. And if you want to do something about it, I can help you. Leave me a comment below.